we've been dealing in the finance module of SAP, creating accounts, entering journal entries, and the like. But now we want to pivot over and start dealing with the company's operations. In this case, our bike company does work with building bikes and then also selling accessories and safety gear and things like that related to bikes. For this example, we are going to set up a new material in Global Bikes that we can then buy and work with in the organization. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. In this case, instead of the accounting module, we're going to be digging into the logistics module. In SAP, the logistics and purchase and payments and all that is contained under the MM module, what they call materials management. All right, so we're going to go into logistics, materials management, material master, material, create, special, and then you can see there are a number of different types of materials we can create. Raw materials, of course, and finished products for those things that the organization manufactures. Semi-finished products, which could be sub-assemblies that company uses as part of their manufacturing process. Operating supplies and so forth. And then also trading goods. So trading goods is what we're going to do here. A trading good is basically something that a company is going to purchase and then turn around and sell. So you can think of that as a distribution type item. All right, so you can also see the T-code for that is MMH1. So I click on that. And let's say we want to create a new material. Be sure to follow what your assignment tells you to do with the material. You could create any material, but you certainly want to create the one your assignment asks you to. So in my case, let's say I need to create some gloves. So I'm going to say gloves 27. And of course, it was looking it up to see if I already have a material, but I don't. So that's fine. I could create a new one here. So I put 27 in there for my company code. So you will probably be asked to put your company code in your material number as well. All right. Industry sector is retail. So you could choose a number of different industries. This will be a retail product that we work with. And again, the material type is trading goods, but you can also make changes there. All right. So at that point, we can now select the different views. And just one thing to note, I am using tab or the mouse pointer to move between fields as I work in this screen. So now I select views, and you can see a lot of different views, basically tabs of information that I can set up for any material. And I may not need to use them all for a material. And in this case, I'm just going to get started with basic data 1. Purchasing, general plant data storage 1, and then a little bit farther down in my selection list, I've got accounting 1. So I want those 4 to be selected. And as I scroll back up, you'll see they are all selected. Once I do that, I can click the check mark here or press enter. And the next thing it asks me is, well, what organization levels would you like to set up for your new material? And we're going to say, well, we're going to store this in our Miami plant. So for me, that would be Miami 27, and in our trading goods storage location in the plant. So I don't need it to be near the production floor. I'm not going to be using it for manufacturing any products. So trading goods location is fine. TG27, MI27 for me. Of course, you'll want your own numbers here. So now I've already selected my views, but here I have another opportunity to do it again. Now I press enter, and you can see I've got the material name or identifier up there at the top, and now I can give it a description. We'll call it something good like extra thick cycling gloves. $27. Again, your assignment may have some different items for you to key in. Just make sure you follow the guidelines for your particular assignment. Basic unit of measure is going to be each. So we sell them in individual pairs. The material group. Well, here I can click a list to see what types of material groups I have. This is certainly not a bike. It's safety gear. So this is going to fall under my safety material group. And then I can look for additional fields. Your assignment will give you a table of the different fields you should fill in, or your company would have some guidelines on that. So you don't necessarily always need to fill in every single field. And in our case, we can skip some. So the next field I need to worry about is the gross weight. So what is gross weight? Well, let's say my gross weight of my gloves are 8 ounces. So I would type in 8 for the unit name, or the number of units over here. And then over here to the right, I can say what type of unit I'm dealing with. And you can see in my list, I've got grams, kilograms, kilotons, pounds, etc. We're using ounces for this one. Okay, so 8 ounces. And then net weight. What if we set net weight to be 9? That would be interesting. Let's see what happens if I then press my enter key. Yeah, okay, so look at that. So we know what gross profit and net profit is. Well, we have the same kind of concept with weight. The gross weight would be the weight of the item, including all of its packaging and wrapping and so forth that we would use for shipping purposes. But the net weight of the item itself would be just the gloves after you've taken them out of their container, wrapper, box, etc. So in this case, it's basically telling me, hey, net weight's greater than the gross weight. What's up with that? So let's just make them both the same. So in this case, the net weight will be the same as the gross weight. And I press enter again. All right. Now, because I have been dealing with errors so far, I have not moved screens, but if I press enter now, SAP notices I have filled in all of the required fields and will take me to the next screen that I chose. All right, and that's the purchasing screen. So in the purchasing page here, I need to identify which purchasing group I'm purchasing this item with. And in this case, I will use my purchasing group N, and then my 2 numbers for my ID and company number, 27. And that's all I really need for this particular screen. So at that point, I can press enter again, and I get taken to the plant data storage page. And at this point, I'm just looking to review. You might have some questions that you want to answer as you're working your way through this particular screen. But I'm going to now press enter. And I can see for accounting, I've got some different items that I want to fill in. You can also see, sometimes you'll see an item with a little red asterisk in front of it. That basically indicates this is a required field. You need to fill it in. So first thing I want to do is find my valuation class. And I already have a value filled in there. So you want to double check and make sure that that's the correct value for you. In my case, it's the only one I have a selection for, trading goods. And then I can also, I need to fill in my per unit price. So this would be my moving price that I am using for the good. And I could key it in to begin with here, but I will then let the system calculate what that moving price is going forward. And then the price control should be V. And we can see that that is a required field. it does have the value, and you can even see what that price control indicator means, or at least the description of it. All right. So at this point, we're done with all of the 4 screens we needed to, so I can click save. And I get a little message here that says my local currency will be converted to other currencies using the current exchange rate. That's fine. So I click save again, and my material gloves 27 has now been created. And at this point, I can continue and add more materials, but we're only adding 1. So I'm going to go back to my main screen and we can see what we would like to do next.